Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 9 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab, scroll down to grade 9 math, and then click on view all lessons. There, we're going to start with the chapter probability. The lessons we're going to cover today are identify independent and dependent events, theoretical probability, experimental probability, compound events for the number of outcomes. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So here I am on grade 9 math. The chapter we are on right now is probability. Let's just start with the lesson that is identify independent and dependent events. Students in Student in Miss Swift's class picked cards numbered from 1 to 28 to figure out the order in which their final projects will be presented. Wendy picks her number first, then Ellie picks a number. Are these two events dependent or independent? Okay, so let me read the question again. Sorry. Students in Miss Swift's class pick cards numbered from 1 to 28 to figure out the order in which their final projects will be presented. Wendy picks her number first, then Ali picks a number. So, yes, they are the dependent events because you have the cards from 1 to 28. So, when Wendy is going to pick the card, he has 28 options. And when Ali is going to pick the card, he have one less option than Wendy. He have 27 options. So two events are dependent if the outcome of the first event can affect the outcome of the second event. So for the first event, the outcomes are 28, and for the second event, the outcomes are 27. Got it? So they are the dependent events. Let's just start with the test questions. Steve calls a bakery and order a custom cake with a certain design. Later that day, Grace calls to order a custom cake. Are these two events dependent or independent? They are the independent events, right? If you order a cake and your friend also order the cake, the outcome of the events are the same, right? So they are the independent events. Laura pulls a coin out of her pocket and places it on the table. Then she reaches back into her pocket and reaches out a second coin. Are these two events dependent or independent? They are the dependent events because for the first time, for example, she have four coins in the pocket, but for the second time she have three coins. So they are the dependent events. Kenny picks a marble at random, put it back, and then picks another marble at random. Are these two events dependent or independent? They are the independent event because he picks a card at random, then put it back. So for the second time, you have exactly the same number of marbles, same as the first. So they are the independent events. The correct option is independent. Ali picks a marble at random. Without putting the first marble back, she picks a second marble at random. Are these two events dependent or independent? So which is the correct option? They are the dependent events. She picked a marble at random without putting the first marble back. So for the second time, she have one less marble than first time. So they are the dependent events. Garrett is making a beaded necklace and plans to use each bead color once. Garrett selects a red bead and then reaches for another color. Are these two events dependent or independent? So plan to use each bead color once. Independent events, I think, because dependent. Why? The two events are dependent since Garrett doesn't want repeat. The selection of first, yes, that is dependent because if she picks red color first time, she cannot use this red color again. So she have now limited colors. So they are the dependent events. Sorry. In a card game, Wilson picks a card from a deck but does not put it back to the deck. Afterward, John picks a card from the deck. Are these two events dependent or independent? So the correct option is yes, they are the dependent events because Wilson picks a card and didn't put it back. So for the second time, he have one less card than the previous one. So the correct option is dependent events. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is theoretical probability. Let's just start with the next lesson. You pick a marble at random. What is the probability of brown? So, the probability is the number of favorable outcomes out of the number of total outcomes. So, we have three marbles. Out of three, two of them are brown. So, the probability of brown is 2 out of 3. Let's just start with the test questions. You spin the spinner once. What is the probability of prime or factor of 70? Simplify your answer and write it as a fraction or whole number. So the only prime number here is 5, and 5 is the only number that is factor of 70, isn't it? So the probability is 1 out of 3 because 5 is the only number that is the prime and 5 is the only number that is. That is 1 over 3. Option number 3 is the correct option. That is 1 by 3. You pick a card at random. The what is the probability of blue? 1. Let's just count the total cards. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9, 10, 11. The total cards are 11 and the blue cards are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 6 over 11. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 6 by 11. Option number 2 is the correct option. You flip a coin. What is the probability of tails? So whenever you flip a coin, you have only two choices: the head or the tail, right? So you have 50% chance for the head and 50% for the tail. You spin the spinner once. What is the probability of prime numbers? So you have 2, 3, and 5. Three of the numbers are prime. So that is 75%. Option number 2 is the correct option. You roll a six-sided die. What is the probability of odd? Odd numbers. Three of the numbers are odd and three of the numbers are even. So the correct option is 50%. Option number 1 is the correct option. What is the probability of purple? That is 2 by 4. So the correct option is 50%. Option number 1 is the correct option. You spin the spinner once. What is the probability of yellow? So which is the correct option? That is 2 by 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. You pick a marble at random. What is the probability of brown? Which is the correct option? That is 2 by 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is experimental probability. Let's just start with the lesson. A pizza train, 7 of the last 14 pizzas sold had pepperoni. What is the experimental probability that the next probability sold will have pepperoni? So, 7 of the pizzas sold have pepperoni, and 14 pizzas are total. So, the probability of pepperoni pizza is 7 over 14. Let's just start with the test questions. Sasha is watching a baseball game. So far, 2 out of 4 batters have gotten a hit. What is the experimental probability that the next batter will get a hit? So the probability of hit is 2 out of 4. The hit are 2 and total are 4. So you can write in simplify your answer, so you can divide them by 2. That is 1 over 2. The correct option is option number 2. That is 1 by 2. Of the last 20 contestants on a game show, 8 won a prize. What is the experimental probability that the next contestants will win a prize? That is 8 over 12. The correct option is 2 by 3. Option number 2 is the correct option. Yesterday, a car rental agency rented 12 vehicles, of which 3 were pickup trucks. What is the experimental probability that the first vehicle rented today will be a pickup truck? That is 3 over 12. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 1 over 4. Restaurants often slip takeouts menus under Jamal's apartment door. So far, Jamal has collected 20 menus, including 10 of the Japanese food. What is the experimental probability that the next menu slipped under the Jamal's door will be from a Japanese restaurant? The correct option is 10 over 20. That is 1 over 2 because we need to simplify the answer. So that is 1 by 2. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is compound events. Find the number of outcomes. So compound events are the more events that are more than one event. You flip a coin and pick a marble. How many outcomes are possible? So you have two events, coin and marbles. So that is the compound event. You need to find the total outcomes for the event. So first you have to look at their outcomes individually. For the coin, you have only two outcomes, right? The head and tail. For the marbles, you have four outcomes. So you need to count the total outcomes. You have to multiply the outcomes of both the events. Let's just start with the test questions. You roll a die and pick a card. How many outcomes are possible? So the outcomes for the dice, you have six outcomes and the two cards. So you have to do 6 times 2. That is 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 12. You pick a card and spin the spinner. How many outcomes are possible? So you have 6 cards and 4 portions on the spinner. So you have to do 6 times 4. That is 24. So for this event, the total outcomes are 24. That is 24. Option number 2 is the correct option. You spin the spinner and flip a coin. How many outcomes are possible? That is 4 times 2. The correct option is 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. You pick a card and pick a marble. How many outcomes are possible? That is 3 times 4. That is 12. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option, that is 10. You spin the spinner and pick a card. Two times 7, that is 14. Option number 1 is the correct option. You roll a die and flip a coin. How many outcomes are possible? That is 2 times 6. Option number 1 is the correct option. 12 it is. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 9 math. The chapter we were working on is probability, and the lessons we have covered today are identify independent and dependent events, theoretical probability, experimental probability, compound events, find the number of outcomes. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the question in the chat box. I am here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So you can please write down the question in the chat box. I am here to answer your questions and confusions if you have any. Any questions? No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.